So as you'll notice, I do a lot of countdowns. I do that with my staff, I do that with my students. Doesn't matter, it's out of respect to you, to allow you to finish, and give you time. All right. Turn to your partners, your table. Answer number two. Number two. Give us some good leadership experiences. If you are in the midst of what I will call the pit, just turn to someone and share with them. All right. Turn to your partners. Take 2 minutes. Go. I'm sorry. Pause. That's here. 3, 2, 1. Sorry. I always forget this. At the end of these 3 minutes, I'm going to call on you to share what your partner said. So make sure you have that ready. 3 minutes. Begin.
Okay, great. Thank you. Excellent. We're going to have a lot of countdowns. Please make sure you pen. Thank you for sharing like that. I have no idea what your names are right now, and it would take me too long. So I'm just going to point to you. Please say your names and then contribute. Yes. Yep.
Hi, I'm Kanupriya, and I work for an organization called Absolute Return for Kids, and we do run a program for leaders in the UK. But we had an interesting conversation in the group here. We got a couple of points. One of them was that a leader is someone who sort of is able to talk to you and reach to your heart, that sort of inspires you to follow them. And the other view was that the leader is able to sort of connect the smaller picture to the bigger picture and is able to put everything in a context that lets people sort of follow them. And one more view was that a leader is someone who sort of lets you question and does not give you the solution but lets you arrive at that solution as well.
Thank you. Yes. Yep. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Abel and I'm from Teach for Malaysia. This is my second year in the fellowship. My group members are Perna and Bersha, and we talked about how a leader listens to us, analyzes what we're doing and who we are, and gives us concrete solutions on how we can improve as a person. I also shared that a leader mentors us personally, so takes the time to listen to us and to give us concrete steps to improve, as well as to challenge us to go beyond our current boundaries.
What was the difference between those two responses? What was the difference between those two responses?
The second one seemed to be more closer, more about a mentor, like more of a connection. That's what I thought.
Yep, go back to the first part that Abel said though. Abel talked about setting goals and helping you achieve like specific details, right? Versus the first group that talked much more about emotions, much more about vision. So let me tell you the story about two different leaders. Those leaders are, so first off, let me give you some context. My name is Isaac. Hello. I did teach for America in 2006 in Philadelphia. I moved to New Orleans in 2008 to be a founding teacher at a school called Psi Academy. Psi Academy started in 2008. In 2012, we had our first graduating class. We are 100% African American. We are 98 to 99% below the poverty line in America. And of our normal demographics like that, 25% would matriculate to college. We had 94%. And for those of you familiar with America, some of the colleges they got into were places like Amherst or Middlebury or Smith or some of the top schools in America. And these are poor black kids from New Orleans. So we were successful. We were able to grow into multiple schools, and now I help to run part of one of those schools, or I help to run one of those schools. And sorry, I run one of those schools. And it's really interesting because this year we have 4 leaders. There's myself, and there's 3 others, and we are very different. I'm a very visionary person. I'm a very inspirational coaching. I like to get with the person and sit with them and have a really close moment with them. And one of the other teachers, one of the other principals, is not. He's much more here's the goal, here's how to get there, let me help you get there. But we may not have the best, closest relationship. And his scores tremendously outperformed when we started mine. Tremendously. So there is this piece of vision, there is this piece of inspiration, but it is not as important as action. It is not as important as laying the framework and helping people through that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. As a leader, how do you decide the framework, how do you lay the path, and then help your teachers or your staff or your teammates get that path. Great. And I'm going to take 10 seconds to walk all the way over here. So we're going to start with our goals for today. Whenever I post a slide, I ask you to read, just someone pop it up. Someone read the first bullet.
Leaders will be able to express a clear working definition of leadership that will help guide their behavior.
Number 2.
Leaders will be able to define and use the best kept secrets in school leadership. A, the school leadership paradox. B, 3 needs of motivation. C, emotional intelligence. To confidently diagnose and act on adult needs.
So the purpose of this is to give you the tools to actually get teachers to become part of your team and align. That's what school leadership's all about. How do you get a staff? I just did a session on how to hire and build a staff. And what this is going to be is once you have that staff, how do you inspire and move them forward? Alright, so we just did this. So credit where credit's due. Almost all of this information is not mine at all. Most of it comes from 2 people, Ben Markovich, who's the founder of our Collegiate Academy Schools, who was the founding principal when I started at Psi Academy, and Nancy Yuski, who's a lecturer at the Haas School of Business in Berkeley in organizational behavior and industrial relations. So here it is, the definition of leadership. It means, and if you want to take notes, you can, setting clear goals and meeting all legitimate needs of the team to reach them. Setting clear goals and meeting all legitimate needs of the team to reach them. What words or word stands out to you in that sentence? Raise your hand. What word stands out to you? Yep.
Clear and legitimate.
Legitimate. Yep. Yep.
Goals.
It's essential. What else?
Needs of the team.
Needs of the team. So this legitimate needs is actually the hardest part of this definition. By the way, you're gonna have to memorize this definition. I'm like not joking. I'm gonna quiz you on it in about 10 seconds. So make sure you memorize it. I'm really not joking. You're laughing. So no, we mean needs, not wants. Needs, not wants. I had a teacher, his name was Ben. He really, really loved cooking dinner for himself every night. Really did. And he came to me and said, I can't enter what I need to enter at night, all the discipline data, because I have to cook dinner for myself. And I said, no. You want to cook dinner for yourself. You need to eat. You need to have a mental break. And the way you do that right now is cooking dinner. You need a mental break. You need food. You don't need to cook for yourself. Let's figure out a way for you to get a mental break faster than that and to get your food. But you're going to enter your data. I had a teacher who said, I need a lunch break. Justin, he would run down the hallway screaming, I need a lunch break. Like, no joke. It was hilarious. And no, you don't. You need a mental break from kids. I get that. And you need to eat. You do not have to have a lunch break. So as a school leader, it's your job to listen to what people say and find the need within the want. Do you need this? Do you need to have that day off, or do you want to have that day off? And sometimes they need it. Sometimes they need it. My grandmother's in the hospital. I need the day off to go visit her. And that's when you have to take a hard look and talk with the person and say, okay, maybe this is a need. Versus this other person says, my grandmother's in the hospital, and you're like, you talk to them and you're like, actually, that's not a need for you. Right? You have to be very careful in listening to what they say. Need versus want. What questions do you have about need versus want? What questions? Yes?
How do you, so your idea of what is a need and a want is different from the person whose need or want it is. How do you actually go through that conversation or align on it?
Absolutely. Needs are things that get the team closer to the mission, closer to achieving the mission. So if you need to go to see your grandmother in the hospital, because that's going to give you closure, that's going to help you be mentally prepared for next week, you need it. If you need to cook dinner because it gives you a mental break, and that's the only way you're going to get a mental break, it's going to make you a better teacher tomorrow, then you need it. If you want to do it, means if I take it away, you'll still be a good teacher. You'll still deliver. And sometimes it's just a hard conversation. Yep.
Just to build on your response then, does that mean those teachers that are more resilient than others are given less leeway on their needs? Because as you were just saying, you take that away. Now if I'm a resilient person, I will probably still cope, but then I'm given less accommodation for my needs than perhaps the guy next to me who perhaps needs it more than I do.
Absolutely. Let's say there's a candy bar right here. Let's say there's a candy bar right here. I can reach that, so I get the candy bar, right? So raise your hand if you can't reach this. If you said that, okay? So does that mean you can't get the candy bar? No, it means I'm going to give you a stool and you get the candy bar. Your need is different. You get something different. It doesn't mean I should look at you and why didn't I get a stool, right? It doesn't matter, right? My needs are different than your needs. We meet our needs however they come. Same thing with kids. You don't turn to a kid turns to you, can't believe you gave that kid extended time. It's in their IEP. It's the law. And it's the moral thing to do. I still can't believe it. It doesn't matter what you believe or not, right? What's fair for you is not what's fair for him or her. Yes?
What about when people aren't even identifying a need or a want? Like, so like the other end of it.
Yes.
Is it for you to then identify their needs?
Absolutely. It's your job to meet all legitimate needs. Does that say all legitimate needs of the team that they bring to you? No. So if I look at a teacher who's on the verge of a breakdown, and I say, you need to go home right now. You need to go home right now and take care of yourself because I don't need a mental break right now. And they look at me like, I don't need that. Yes, you do. Go home. That's my job.
And I guess when it becomes harder is when you're looking at the preventative measures along the way. Because then it's like, what's need, what's want, And like without, how do you stop it getting to that, like that crisis point is obvious, but you learning what someone needs in order to not get there is
Exactly.
nuts.
Exactly. And that's just personal relationships. Okay? Quiz yourself and your partner until you have the definition of leadership memorized. Here are your options. You can say it 10 times fast. You can say it 3 times in an accent of someone else in the room. Or you can have, sorry if that's inappropriate. Or you can have your partner start and finish his or her sentence. Do one of these things until you've memorized setting clear goals and meeting all legitimate needs of the team to reach them. Go. Setting clear goals. Raise your hand. I will be nice to you this time. Next time I won't be, because this will come up again in this presentation. Raise your hand if you think you're ready, without looking. Yes?
Setting clear goals and meeting all the legitimate needs of the team to meet them.
Alright, we snap when we like it. Yep?
Setting clear goals to attend all the legitimate needs of your team and meeting them.
To reach them.
Sorry?
To reach them.
To reach them.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. One more? I'll give it some snaps too. Hold on. One more? Yes?
Setting clear goals and meeting all the legitimate needs of the team and organization.
Excellent. So, if I'm a principal, if I'm a school leader and you're my teachers, why am I doing this? Why wouldn't I just put the definition up there and be like, memorize this? Why would I do this fun little thing? Why would I call on people so they can show? Why would we snap for each other? Why am I doing this? Yes?
You're showing that you feel that this is truly important, and that's important for us to turn on.
Aren't I degrading you? I'm treating you like kids right now. I'm treating you like kids. I'm counting you down. I'm giving you funny little tasks to do. Right? I'm giving you snaps when you get things right. I'm treating you like kids. Isn't that degrading? Don't you feel degraded right now? Yes.
Are you implying that's what we need to be able to get to the goal of the session?
No. I'm moving on to the next. I'm segueing into the next one. Why don't you feel? Do you not feel neglected? If you don't feel neglected, tell me why you don't feel it. Why don't you feel neglected or not neglected? Degraded. Why don't you feel degraded?
I don't feel degraded because you're not treating us like children. You're treating us like how the brain works. So these funny little tasks are not things for children. It's things for the human mind and how we learn things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's fun. It's fun. It makes you happy. You're smiling.
And also,
right?
you framed it. You framed it at the start. You kind of set the expectation that you would be doing this. And again, when you do any work with adults, the framing at the start kind of puts a bit of a context around it so people will go with it.
Absolutely. And if you're a teacher and you leave this PD to go to your next room, what are you going to do? You're going to do countdowns, you're going to do funny little things, you're going to do snaps, you're going to learn all the techniques that I'm doing right now. Every moment that my teachers are in my sessions, they're becoming better teachers just by watching me. If you're a school leader, you are most likely the best teacher in the school. Or at least really good. So show them that. Let them pick those things up. And it's not degrading, it's fun. So that is our segue into the next section, which is... Oh, never mind. Sorry, back it up. Alright, so what does it mean, goals? Someone said the word goals, right? So pick your department. If you're a science teacher, if you're a 10th grade teacher, if you run a series of schools, whatever you do. Okay? List every metric that one could measure your department's success on. Everything you can think of. And then you would create a realistic but audacious goal for that metric. So, instead of doing that, I've already done that for you. This is what I did for my staff. It's a little bit overwhelming, so calm down. So what I did here was I said,
everything that's important, we're going to set a goal for. Go to the second piece right here. I care about uniform violations. So I want to count the number of uniform violations every day and set a goal around that. I want to quiz the staff every afternoon to see who can tell me how many kids have uniform violations, because I want the staff to know. Seeing the best in kids. We can set a goal around that. I want to set a goal for the school, that we're going to up the ratio of positively framed comments from adults to kids to neutral or negative comments. So Katie Wills literally stands in the hallway during transitions and listens to what people say. And she records every time someone says a good, nice comment to a kid, positively framed, instead of being like, why isn't your shirt tucked in? Saying, oh, you forgot to tuck your shirt in, tuck it in for me. Instead of being like, you're going to be late to class. Being like, oh, gotta hurry. You don't want to be late. Make it. Just the tone, just the way you say it. So we wanted this, so we set a goal around it, and we recorded it. The number of scholars, we have this thing called Credo. It's our brainwashing that we do for the kids. And we count the number of kids who say it every day. We count the number of kids who are tardy at that morning meeting. We count the number of kids who interrupt during classes. We count the number of kids who are present at the number of staff members who are present at our staff morning meeting. All of our cell phone policies. And then we track the number of teachers who enter these things. We hold our teachers accountable. One of our teachers actually holds the rest of the teachers accountable. If we think something's important, we're going to set a goal for it. And that doesn't just mean English. That doesn't just mean reading level. That means everything in the entire school. There's a goal, and we see how we're doing against that. Questions on goal setting? Yes?
Yeah, how do you achieve this? Because I think it's great. But I can imagine that even the leaders in my school would be like, I'm not standing someone in the corridor to count how many nice things are said. We don't have the capacity.
Absolutely.
So how do you achieve that measurement?
So your question actually isn't about this, it's about how to get your staff mission aligned. If your staff truly believed that 100% of your kids need to go to college, that you need to raise the reading level by 3 grades, that it is unfair that the kids who go to your school have a different opportunity than the kids that go to this school. If your staff believes that, then they will do whatever it takes to reach it. And then it doesn't matter. But, let's be honest, some of your staff doesn't come to your school because of that. They come to your school because of X. Because they've always come to your school. Because it's what they trained in 30 years ago. Or 2 years ago. Or 1 year ago. Right? They come to your school because it's a step for them. A lot of people who do Teach for America, it's a step for them to something else. So maybe they're not all the way bought into the mission. There's tons of reasons why people aren't bought into the mission. The answer is, buy them in. That's a precursor to all this. If they're not bought into your goals, then this is worthless.
Sorry, assuming when you say buy them in, you mean you sit with them and make these goals?
You sit with them and talk to them about the mission. You say, why in the name of anything that is holy are you at the school right now? And if the answer is not to make these kids smarter and to give them better opportunities, that's a problem. And if you lie to me and tell me that's why you're here, but it's not really why you're here, I'm going to know. So tell me the real reason why you're here, and then let's see if you can actually get behind the real reason why we're here. And if you can't get behind the real reason why we're here, if you were in my last session, you know that's one of the 4 things that keeps you at this school. If you are not mission aligned, you are not at my school. Yes.
Question about having a different mission and having a different set of goals and parallel. Like uniforms isn't every teacher's priority.
Absolutely. So what we do every Friday is we sit around in an entire, it looks like this actually, well it's not quite this big of a stack. We sit around in a circle and we do this thing called Tactica. It's from a book called Death by Meaning, if you want to look it up later. And we sit and we do a tactical and we put up all the problems of the school. So someone says uniform violations. And when we get to that topic, they say, I don't actually think that we should care about the color of our kids' socks. Who cares if these socks are brown or blue or white? Because in our uniform, it matters. And they say, I don't think it should matter. And then we have a conversation about whether it should matter. And as a group, we either decide, do we care about it or do we not care about it? And if we care about it, we're going to set a goal. If we don't care about it, then we get rid of it. And the kids can wear whatever socks they want.
But if we care about it, then we all care. We all commit to it. So we know that in tactical, whatever happens at the end of tactical, we all agree to. Yes?
So, if I'm understanding correctly, your mission when you were hiring and you were talking to your teachers, it's you're either behind our mission or you're not. And then when you get into tactical, it's okay, what are the most important points of the mission? And then this is when you decide together what are the things that we really want to focus on and what are the things that are maybe not focus on.
Absolutely. So it's not even about that. It's not about like what are the most important things. It's about what's going to lead us to the mission the best. So is our socks going to lead us to the mission or not? Because I can make an argument that they will. And other people can make an argument that they won't. And so we as a group will decide. Will socks lead us to the mission or will they won't? But the conversation about are we mission aligned, that doesn't come up. Yes?
Coming to the school leader's role in that conversation, you said if we decide it's important. You know, who is we, who gets to decide?
That is a very good question. What is my job? Say it? Sorry? To steer. Okay, sort of. What's my job?
To set clear goals.
And? Meet legitimacy the team reason. So I set the goals. The goal is our kids need to learn 3 grades of reading this year. They have to move 3 grades up in reading. That's the goal. You tell me as a group what we need to do that. And we will do whatever we need to do. You are the teachers. I'm not in your classroom every day. You know way more than I do what you need. So you tell me, but we as a group decide. And we as a group decide, and that's what it's going to be.
But then you also differentiate between needs and wants, right?
Yes, so if the team, so it is my job if the team is going like, it's my job to make sure that what they say is a need to reach the goal is actually a need. So sometimes people are like, so we have this ridiculous rule, ready? Ridiculous rule number 1. You are only allowed to wear outerwear, sweatshirts, as a student, that say the word Carver on it. That's not ridiculous. Or you are advisory, so they're named after like colleges. So like Maryland, which is my advisory, Maryland, they get to wear Maryland outerwear. But they are not allowed to wear LSU outerwear, because that's their advisory. What sense does that make? I could even be going to LSU in 1 month from now, and I still can't wear an LSU hoodie? That makes no sense. And the answer is, it doesn't make sense to me either. But we as a group sat around, and the team decided that that's what was best, because it shows unification of a group. You're part of your advisory, so that's part of the group. And some teacher said, I don't want to do it because I don't want to do it. And I said, that's not a good reason. You don't want to do it, but it's what these kids need, so it's what we're going to do. If we determine it's not what the kids need, then we'll change. Other questions? Okay, let me slide forward. So I'm going to use a phrase in the session today called "make it messy." Does anyone know who Lionel Messi is? Who's Lionel Messi?
Best player in the world.
The best player. Best player of what?
Football.
What's the difference between Kobe Bryant and Lionel Messi? What's the difference between Kobe Bryant and Lionel Messi?
Lionel Messi passes.
Yeah, also true. Kobe Bryant has never won a championship. Ever. Lionel Messi has how many? I have no idea. So, a whole lot. You know what the difference is how they got that? Messi practices over and over. You can see the film of him. It's ridiculous. He's the first guy out there, and he's a soccer player, and he always does the exact same kick in the exact same spot until he gets it perfect. And then he does the next one. Kobe Bryant doesn't practice at all. It's all natural skill, which means that he doesn't actually develop in the right ways. So when I say make it messy, what I mean is you're going to practice in the exact right way. You're going to practice and practice and practice. And we do that as a staff. Practice is a key component. Okay. So for your own personal, sorry, someone else, please. I'm tired of talking.
For your own personal context, identify one person that you need whom you do not always give the greatest clarity or support. Create a plan of how you will provide that clarity and support moving forward.
So, what if you, let's say, raise your hand if you run a school right now. Okay? So if you run a school, it's pretty simple. You pick a person and just determine. Raise your hand if you run part of your school, like an academic team or grade level. Okay, so then you just pick a student or a teacher in your department. Raise your hand if you are a classroom teacher that does not run a group. Okay, hands down. Then you would pick someone else in your group that needs help leading where they're going. We lead each other all the time. I, as a school leader, go to my fellow school leaders and say, hey, refocus on your goal. How can I help you? Because we're all in this together. Okay? Pick a context, pick one person, tell them how you're going to either set a clear goal for them or help meet legitimate needs for them. Take 2 minutes on your paper. If you have questions, now's a good time to raise your hand. Now, we'll go in 2 minutes. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're going to move forward. Alright. School leadership paradox is number 2 out of 4. 2 out of 4. The school leadership paradox says the following. Being a leader, and this goes back to my comments earlier, being a leader is everything like being a teacher. But, do you want to guess what the next sentence is going to say? Being a leader is nothing like being a teacher. You like that little surprise, right? You have to memorize this one too. It's a little easier. So how do you think it's everything like being a teacher? How do you think it's nothing? Turn your partner and share. Take 30 seconds. Quick, go.
I would see evidence of that. Finding ways to influence my team, what's happening, getting them around ideas. So the picture thing, I definitely see like the big picture. But it's nothing like being a teacher. This week's
I see a 3, 2, 1, and wrap it up. 3, 2, 1, and 0. So, what you said? What you said? How's it everything like being a teacher? How's it everything? Everything like being a teacher. But how can that possibly be true? Everything and nothing. How's it everything like being a teacher? What you said? Yep.
In the classroom, you have to inspire them, motivate them, and then secretary goes to them, constantly assess whether they are on the right path and assess them and then sort of help them in getting, if they are wayward, then getting them back to their ways.
Exactly. Exactly.
In terms of the skills.
Sorry, say again.
In terms of the skills, like you said, your vision, you invest, like the basics, it's plus, or in terms of skills.
Exactly. It's the same skill set as what you do with your kids. How's it nothing like being a teacher? Yeah.
So if you are the leader, you can set goals, but you can't achieve it for them.
Yes. Yes. What do you mean by that?
So what happens is you have to give the teacher the space to operate, and she should be able to operate in a zone of influence, and you have to trust that the person is going to deliver.
It is the worst feeling in the world. You're standing in the back of a teacher's classroom. Sorry for your teacher. And you are like, oh my God. Oh my, please, just say the chant. I taught you that chant 2 weeks ago. Just say the chant. You're not going to say the chant. Or, please, just remember the definition. No, that's not the right, or, oh my, I can't believe you didn't call on that kid. Or, do you not see that kid's outerwear? Like, there's a million different things. You're standing there being like, I can't believe this is happening right now. Or, on a bigger level, I can't believe your scores. If I was in that class, do you know, if I was in that classroom, do you know what my scores would be? Right? And it doesn't matter. No one cares. Because you can't teach all the classes at once. It's not your job. It's not your role. Your role is everybody's, and it is one of the hardest transitions. So this is why it's hard. This is why it's hard. Read out the bullet points. Go. Someone read.
Same need for preparation, accountability, and inspiration. Same approach to communication. Same standards for your behavior. Increased stakes for mistakes. Increased stakes for emotional turmoil. Same goals, focus, except you have more of them now and you have less direct impact on them. Everything is your fault. I mean responsibility. Nada, all. Extremely disappointing if getting out of the classroom was a part of your plan. The short stop, coach, dictum.
So so the last one is, you think it's like, oh, it's just like becoming, it's like instead of being a shortstop, now I'm like a super shortstop. No. It is a completely different set of skills. It's like playing a different position. It's a completely different set of mindsets and skills. Emotional turmoil? My wife goes crazy over this. Crazy. Because she's like, Isaac, you never get angry. You never get, I don't understand. It's not normal. She gets angry at me about not getting angry. But I can't get angry anymore. I can't. I could have a teacher, I could have protesters, I could have kids, I could have parents screaming in my face. And the first time I say a comment that's inappropriate, that's the one that spreads across the entire school. That's the one that affects my relationship with that person forever. Because they won't remember what they said to me. They'll remember what I said to them. And it doesn't matter anymore. I don't get to have that luxury. It's my job to lead them. What they need at that moment is not for me to be angry. It's for me to lead them. I don't get to be sad. I don't get to give emotions. I don't get to be close to my team anymore. So when you're a teacher, even like I was a grade dean, yeah, it's part of your team. You go out and have beers with them. It's really nice. You can go out to Bourbon Street and like have a lot of fun with them. And once you're their leader, you can't anymore. You have to have a certain level of separation. Although I'm still pretty. What questions on any of this? I speak to my team the same way that I speak to my kids. The same way that they speak to their kids. The same way I'm speaking to you right now.
Is it okay to standardize the way you communicate with the teachers or with the kids? And is it as effective, or the approach to be such that you should communicate in a different manner with a different set of people?
I never would. So I'm.
So why is it?
I talk because number one, I want to model it at all times. So if I'm speaking to you, if we're sitting in a room, the one exception is that I like to curse. I'm holding myself back actually really well right now. But I really like to curse in staff meetings. Which I don't do in front of students. But But the way I'm speaking, the tone, if you listen to the tone of my voice, the modality of my voice, the way I stop, this is not a natural stopping. The way I'm speaking right now is not like the way I spoke when I was 10. I developed this as a teacher. Because when you stop at unnatural points in your sentence, everyone's listening. So I want them to hear me talk always like that, so that they talk always like that to their kids. And I tell them that. I'm explicit about that. Oh, there's more. Someone else.
Same need for preparation, accountability, and inspiration. But you usually need a different tone. Authority must be made up for in influence.
Let me pause there for a second. Number 2 is really important. As this is the main difference. The main difference why it's not like being a teacher. Because when you're a teacher and a kid, if I take a kid and I put them up to the corner, we're standing here, the kid's right here. I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you talked that way in that class. That was really inappropriate. And as a teacher, I'm going to tell you that. Am I going to stand here and do this to a teacher? No. I would draw the line there. Because as a student, there's an authority level. Even in America, where there is not always that clear authority level, there is an authority level between the adult, the principal, the teacher, and the student. That is not the same as teachers. Teachers will tell you to go, all that stuff, right? And so you can't, and if you tell a teacher to do it, they'll nod their head and then go do something completely different. So then there's this other piece, this is the next piece we're going to talk about. How do you influence people to do what you want them to do? You can't always just tell them the way you can tell them. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. It's not your job to directly impact it. In fact, the buck stops with you. The moment everything gets quiet in a meeting, your ask double at first, maybe you get them down, but who knows? Because no one really cares. Loneliness.
It is, no one cares. No one cares at all. No one cares how many hours you're working. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All that matters is the mission getting achieved. And now it's no longer your little classroom. Now it's a million little classrooms. Not really, a lot. Questions on this?
I'm just wondering, like when you talk about no one really cares, how much of a buy-in do they have towards your mission? I mean, how do you sustain that whole investment? In the mission. What do you say?
No one really cares about me. No one cares about me.
Oh, so you're saying that, okay.
When they email me, I got an email, no joke, yesterday from a teacher that, someone asked me earlier, you're a principal, how can you be away for a week? Right? So I had a teacher email me with a page-long email being like, how dare you leave me? How dare you? I'm in the midst of this emotional turmoil with my classroom and you're not here for me.
But don't you think the team actually needs to be in a way that whoever is your manager, whoever is the leader, there is a certain level of that care?
Yeah, she cares about me as a person, but that not as much as she cares about me helping her. Right? So like, yes, I care about you and I want you to have this really cool experience, but where were you when I needed you? Because that's more important. Versus a friend, it's like, okay, I get it. I can empathize with you. As a leader, it's not their job to empathize with you.
But it's interesting, how do you see that? Do you see that as more dependability on you, or do you see that as it's fine?
I think it's the way it is. It's that I don't want, here's what I want. Here we go. I don't want my team worrying about how I feel. Because that's how it normally is, right? What's the principal going to think? But, the principal's in the room. Let me do the right thing. Right? I don't want that. I want that in my model. Okay, I'm going to go off script for about 10 seconds, right? There's a book called The Servant. It has a model like this, right? The servant says the CEO is at the top, and everybody else is at the bottom, except they actually take this and flip it. And say the most important people are the workers, they're the teachers. They're the ones who actually are interacting with the kids. You at the bottom, you mean nothing. You could disappear, and as long as the teachers are doing the right thing, no one would care. That's how I want my teachers to think. I don't want them to worry about my emotion. I want them to worry about their emotion and how I can help them. It's my job to meet their needs. So if she has a need, when she sent me that email, guess what my response was? I'm sorry I didn't meet your need. Let me figure out how to help you meet that. in the back of my mind, I'm like, pissed. Are you joking? Are you joking? But I have to get past that and say, no, like actually, she's doing the exact right thing. What's the most important thing? The kids. Who's the person that plays that out? Her. How do I help her do that? Yes.
You were talking about loneliness and about getting a lot of burnout in terms of emotional burden. So how do you deal with that? I mean, this has to be sustainable. You want to be in your job for a couple of years.
Do I look like I deal with it well? Is that? I think
surviving this.
Right. I think there's another model. I'm sorry, I'm really just like spouting models right now, so I apologize. There's a model that's energy, and the model is belief leads to energy. So if I believe in something, I'm going to be energized about it. I'm going to do a whole lot of work, and then I'm going to get results, and the results feed my belief. So I do not get energy from interactions with teachers. I do not get energy from. I get energy when I believe in something and I see the results. So every time I go down, I say, wait, where are my results? Where's my energy? Okay. Awesome. I think actually. All right. I'm going to move forward in the sake of time. So, yeah. Skip. All right. Number 3 is something called emotional intelligence. You all have this, right? Okay. Oh man, I'm clearing the room. No, there's a separate HOT conference that's going on. Now we can really come. All right.
Yes.
So EI means emotional intelligence. There's four frames for that. Can you say that one more time, actually?
Yeah.
All right. These are the 4. If you want to write these down, you can. They are self-awareness. So emotional intelligence, soft skills. This is not actually soft. It's very definitive how to get it done. So number 1 is self-awareness. Am I aware of my emotions? Number 2 is self-management. Can I manage myself? Can I make myself do things when I don't want to do them? If I'm pissed, can I still control myself? That mission. The long term. Okay? We do that with all the values. So for respect, I want to make sure this poetry slam goes off without a hitch. I'm going to plan every detail to make it perfect. Then when the team gets involved, they'll have clear roles. This is awesome, right? I'm being respectful. This is how I would want to be treated. But respect means we treat others the way they want to be treated, and other people want to have some input. I'm going to check in with the team well ahead of time to make sure they are confident with their roles and feel like their input is heard. It's not just how I feel, it's how they feel. This is aligned to my value. So that's why we do it. Okay? So they memorize it. We go through scenarios. Wait, hold on. Whoa. Are there any questions so far? Because we're about to get really deep. Really quick. Here we go. And then I say, how much can you show respect? And here's what we do. No. Someone read the top.
Always set your expectations. Things that do not make you a better teacher than someone else.
How long you've been in the classroom, how old or young you are, where you grew up, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, inner city versus suburb, the color of your skin, the money in your bank account, the achievement level of your kids last year. These do not make you a better teacher. But guess what? We all think they do. And so I put that up the second day of orientation with 27 staff members from completely different backgrounds who had never met each other until the day before. And I said, go. Do you agree or disagree? People, I checked, were they being vulnerable with each other? And if they weren't, I would walk up to them in the conversation, and this conversation went on for like 4 hours. Again, with people in tears. I don't know what it is about crying with people, but And I would go up to people and be like, you're not being vulnerable. You're not being open. Be more open. I would go up to people and be like, you're not being respectful right now in the way you're talking. Say your opinion, but think about how other people are hearing your opinion. And I would test their values in this environment with a pretty heated topic. Which if we open this up right now, it would get pretty heated. And I wanted to see, did they show their values? Did they live their values? Don't just tell me, because when you're teaching, when you're in the midst of a school, do you live it? And then, things that do make you a better teacher. Oh, look at that. This is literally the second slide I showed them. Passion, mission, vulnerability, growth. All actions reflecting the mission in every way. All actions reflecting the values in every way. And things that make you the best teacher you can be are these things and owning who you are. What's your personal story? I don't care what it is, as long as you own it. So I explicitly brainwash them and tell them what makes a better teacher. I tell them how to be a good staff. It's my job. That's what they came to do. Yes?
So, I was just wondering that different people have different kind of communication styles.
Yes.
So, are you expecting that, for example, some people are always saying things on the face and some people like to email and communicate. So do you want us, like when you are recruiting, do you want same set of people or you like diversity? That you want different kind of people with different opinions and then coming together?
Yep. I want people who treat others the way they want to be treated. So I want people who will listen to what you like and say, okay, I will email you instead of talk to you. That's the kind of person I want. So I don't care. I don't care what kind of style they are, as long as they're the kind of person that will listen to other people and say, okay, that is what I want. That's my value. So I don't value one style over another. I value people who listen to others. Okay, role clarity. We have 8 minutes. So that is values. Explicitly teach them, get them to practice them, get them to actually practice them. Okay. Number 2 is role clarity. Someone read.
Imagine an instructional coach position. What
Does everyone understand what that means, instructional coach? It's like someone who teaches you how to be a better teacher.
What is the role of an instructional coach? Write down your answer.
Go. 30 seconds, quick. Go. What's the role of someone whose job it is to make you a better teacher? What's their role? Six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Someone call it out. What do you got? Which one?
Observations.
Giving feedback.
Facilitate. I said to develop a teacher's mindset, knowledge, and skills.
Push beyond your comfort zone while communicating belief in your ability.
Who could bring clarity to your thought?
Give the oral and written instructional communication.
Tell you what you're doing good.
Re-inspire. Rekindle that light. Encourage you to create legacies.
Those are a million different things. If I'm an instructional coach, how do I know what I'm supposed to do? So either you have to make a list for me, which is where you get rubrics, or we don't do that. Here is what we say. We say that your goal is your role. That your goal is, I don't actually care what you do as an instructional coach. I don't care what you do, as long as you're making those teachers better. I don't care what you do as a teacher, as long as you're making those students smarter. No one cares what I do as a principal, unless I'm making my school better and getting more kids to college. That's all that matters. And so then it becomes, this is back to mission, right? Then it becomes, it's not my job. So I just said this to someone, but one last anecdote, and we'll move to the last section. I just had to terminate an employee. He was our SPED para assistant, which means he worked in the SPED room, basically changing diapers. He was very valuable line, which is why I hired him, but he was very violent and ended up having violent situations with students, so we terminated him. Who was there? We couldn't hire anyone. It was too late. So guess who changes those diapers? You bet about it? Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's not my job description because I don't have a job description. What my job description is that the school has to run. And so diapers have to be changed, and those kids are amazing kids. Let's do it. It doesn't matter. All that matters is, are we hitting our goals? So you reframe the way you think of role clarity. Role clarity means, do you know what you're responsible for, the goal that you're responsible for? If you know that goal, we're all set. And then all those questions before about like, wait, you were supposed to do that. It doesn't matter. It's all our goal, or it's your goal, or it's my goal, or it's all our goal, whatever it is. Last one. And I'm really not going to do this justice, because I'm going to do it 2 minutes, and this is like a 3-hour presentation. Maybe the last conversation you had that went, in your opinion, badly. So in general, it goes badly because, well, let me give you an example. You guys are laughing. Give me an example. Share with the class.
You just come with very different set assumptions into the conversations. You bring your own.
Yeah, give me an example, a personal example. It can be personal too, it doesn't have to be small.
I have so many, but okay, I was having a conversation with somebody around their communication style, and we've not had a very good relationship, and this person wanted me to communicate in a way that I'm not comfortable with, and we still left the meeting being at long and has been like, I can't keep doing this. And this person, this is the best way I understand, so you have to keep doing it. It was just a terrible thing.
Yeah.
And I think it was because we came in with very set mindsets about it.
Yes.
That's my diagnosis.
Yes, so let's go with that example, right? So, here are the steps, and if you want to write them down, because this is the last slide we're going to get to. So here are the steps. You have to go into the conversation curious. It sounds like you have a very set way of communicating, and I'm really curious why that is. I really am. Like I honestly, it's not like I'm being facetious. I don't understand. So I'm going to go into this conversation trying to figure out why that is. I want to learn more. You didn't let your third period class out on time. So I want to learn more about why that was. I'm not going to assume anything. Because maybe there's a really good reason. Maybe someone vomited on the floor in front of the doorway, and you said, don't walk past it. I don't know. You, as a principal, you didn't give me feedback on my lesson plans. Let me find out why. Maybe there's a reason why you didn't do that. So the first step is to be curious, a learning conversation. And then you want to start with a third story. Here's what happened. Number 2, here's how it impacted me. And here's what I assumed. And now let me learn more. So the key parts are, I want to learn about this. Here's what happened. Objective, newspaper. Not like, I can't believe you did this. So, sorry, tell me your name?
Shrutika.
Shrutika? All right, so let's say that, let's put this switch, right? So you didn't communicate well with me, and now I'm going to come talk to you about it, okay? So in my mind, as I'm walking up, I'm like, okay, I want to learn. I want to know why. Cool. So, do you have a second?
Yeah.
Great, thanks. So, I sent you that email the other day, and you responded back very short and said, like, I don't really like when you send me emails, come find me. And that really hurt me. It really made me feel like you don't value when I get in touch with you. I'm sure that's probably not why it is, but I want to know more about, I'm just curious about what happened.
Well,
So stop.
Okay.
So that's it. Just start like that. Just start like that. Because just starting, as a principal, I do this to my teachers. You didn't turn your lesson plans in on time. I want to know a little bit more about why that is. It doesn't mean I'm not going to hold you accountable. It doesn't mean I'm not going to maybe dock your pay if that's how the system is. But I want to know why it's happening so I can help you. Or so I can understand better. It doesn't mean anything changes. It just means that you go in with the right mindset. Sorry, there's supposed to be practice here. Okay. I have 10 seconds to put this slide up, which is my name and email. If you have questions, you should feel free to email me. I really mean that. I know probably some facilitators go out there and say that, and like they give you the Hotmail address they never use, but this is actually like I check this very regularly, and I really do value whatever impact I can have. So I apologize for not having question time. I am around for the rest of this weekend and for the rest of next week. If you have any questions, thank you so much for your participation.
Thank you. Okay, so my one key takeaway is definitely I need to sit down and reflect on my values. And the reason how I knew that, he asked us to come up with interview questions when hiring people so we can test for values. I couldn't actually write any interview questions because I realized I didn't have any values. And my organization, we have core values as an org, which I've been operating off of and a lot of us have, but I haven't sat down to really think what's meaningful for me personally. And that's definitely something I'm going to go back and do.
Thank you so much. The thing is that it became completely clear for me what were the reasons why I felt mad about my previous job, and that was I was not sure what my role was there. So I tried to do everything, and that became nothing. So now I know why it was like that. Thank you so much.